Which button is it? The red one?
Right.
Right, okay. Well, one of the reasons I wanted to give this talk today is that Herb Hodgkins, who was more than just a supporter of the Lobster Institute, was very involved in this whole idea that high-speed haulers were killing lobsters. This is Herb, and he came to the Lobster Institute with this issue probably 15 years ago, and he'd been after us to do something, and he was convinced, first of all, that using high-speed haulers, there was a decompression problem. So the first thing that he talked us into doing was getting access to a decompression chamber at the University of Maine. I'll show you a picture in a minute. But I want to show you, it's pretty easy to know that these lobsters have been the victims, I'd say, of high-speed haulers. You look at these two heart pictures, and you can see the swollen heart, which is characteristic of lobsters that have been hauled with a high-speed hauler. And then the other one is normal, is a normal heart. And we refer to this as jelly heart. And something that I have done in the past is I've gone to lobster dealers who have held lobsters for a few weeks, and I'd go through the deads and pull up the carapace, and you'd see this this jelly heart, and it's really easy to spot. So we began to study this back when Herb brought the problem to us, and we know a lot about it in terms of it's always the same bacterium. It's Photobacterium indicum. And there was a fairly thorough study done by Dave Basti and friends looking at the whole issue of high-speed haulers. And he confirmed that this Photobacterium indicum was present in any lobster that had been hauled like this. And we'll come back to why there's a reason for this in a minute. But as we looked at the high-speed hauler issue, the lobstermen see this as a dealer problem. Because these lobsters that have been subject to high-speed haulers, if you put them in a tank for, say, a couple of weeks, in that period of time, you'll get about a 5 to 10% mortality. It doesn't happen right away. So again, it's the dealer's problem. And why waste time when you can haul quickly? So the way that dealers would handle this is if they knew that they're in an area where most of the fishermen have high-speed haulers, these lobsters go right to the processors very quickly in Maine or Canada within a day, and otherwise you're dealing with mortality. So replicating the pressure change, we got access to the opportunity to compress these lobsters. And wait a minute, I want to go, yeah, I'll go back one in a minute. So what we did was we took these lobsters and we put them under high pressure, and then we released that pressure very quickly. And we did it in pressures that basically replicated what a high-speed hauler would do. And actually, before we did that, we shot a lot of videos of lobsters in traps. We had a camera in the trap as they were being hauled. And I think Jason Joyce is in this by Zoom. Jason, you can text me if you are. And it was off his boat that we did these videos. And it was pretty interesting. And we'll come back to why this is significant. So we're hauling at speeds that are trying to replicate the same decompression with the hyperbaric chamber. So we did that. We took these lobsters and we put them back in crates and floated them in Hancock, Maine, Herb's backyard at Tidal Falls. And they all lived. So that pretty well told us it wasn't a problem of decompression. So looking back at these videos, we noticed the orientation of the lobsters in the trap. And we're looking at them, and you could see a certain percentage of them were rostrum up, nose up in the trap. So the thought was maybe there's something going on here so that water is getting rushed into the mouth of those unfortunate lobsters that are rostrum up and disrupting the gut. Because this bacteria, Photobacterium indicum, is a normal bacteria that we see in the midgut of lobsters, but it shouldn't be in circulation. So in order to test this, we decided we would try to disrupt the digestive gland with high pressure water. And what we did was, I'll come back to that. We took lobsters that, just plain old ordinary lobsters, and we took a feeding needle, which is a needle with a ball on the end so it doesn't damage the lobster, dropped it in the stomach, and then we just basically gave it a charge of salt water. Every lobster that got this showed up with a jelly heart. So this pretty well tells us that this idea that lobsters that were basically rostrum up in the trap, those are the ones that are dying. And that's why this high pressure water, as they're hauled rapidly. Now, going back to another experiment that we did, and by the way, most of these experiments that I'm talking about were carried out by undergraduate students at the University of Maine as their senior capstone projects. So it was good free labor, along with her, of course, so he was good free labor as well. And what this shows us is we fed groups of lobsters either a non-medicated feed pellet, our control, or we fed them a medicated feed, which contained oxytetracycline, which will kill most bacteria, or some we fed with these feed pellets, but we also gave them an oral dose with a feeding needle so that we knew they got it. So we had two ways that we could knock out the bacteria. And as you can see, there was one mortality in the medicated feed. And that probably means that lobster either wasn't eating the feed or it may have had bacterial growth or something going on with it before we got to it. And all those that got medication and oral, through oral and feed, they all survived. So again, this is the bacterial connection, and we're assuming this is the same Photobacterium indicum. So we've got a pretty good model. But my point in speaking today is we worry about this as a dealer problem, but it's more than that. You think about, let's say we have about 1 million trap hauls a day. How many shorts, how many sublegal lobsters are coming up? Same way in high-speed haulers. And day after day, we're losing millions and millions of sublegal lobsters. And someone needs to actually follow up and verify this. It's not going to be me, but if anybody's interested, I'm happy to help you and tell you what I know, which isn't a lot. But anyway, I think this is something that really needs to be addressed, and it's something that we can do something about that undoubtedly is affecting large numbers of our up-and-coming sublegal population. So that really is the main point that I want to make. So again, fishermen could choose between hauling at high speeds, catching more lobsters, or the future. And basically that's what it involves. And I've passed this on to DMR in Maine, and hopefully they're paying attention. I don't know. Anyway, I'm happy to answer your questions. It's late. And also a little embarrassment, my wife just showed up. She's the pretty lady in the blue.
Slightly tangential, but perhaps related to the high-speed hauling thing. Do you know of anyone who's looked at effects on egg loss?
No, but I thought about that as well, because they could easily, I mean, that cement that holds the eggs is not that strong. That's a real good point.
Just get bashed around a bunch, and especially because they're also getting tossed back and then go back for their next meal and another trap over. So you'd think there might be repetitive,
Yeah, you wonder
sort of
about that.
cyclical effects.
And where you sometimes will pull up an egg lobster, and there'll be a certain number of them that are dead, and that could be the cause of it. But on balance, it's not a good idea, and it can be fixed.
So with the talk about high-speed haulers, because in Canada, there's basically one hauler that we all buy, what is the speed that you're defining high speed as specifically? You might have flipped through, I just missed it.
It's, let's see, well, I don't know what defines high speed, but I'll go back and whoops, are we off? Well, I don't know what it is in feet per second, but it was on one of those slides. I'd have to look at it again. I don't remember the number. Can we get back to that, or? Okay. And the answer is I don't know, but it's got to be a smaller capstan, or just run slower with hydraulics. The other thing that is helpful, if fishing fleets of traps, that naturally slows down the process. So that could be an answer as well, and maybe still get the same number. Oh, thanks. Let's see, what am I looking for? Okay, these are the equivalents on the right there, feet per second, that we tried with the hyperbaric chamber decompression. And I think that's analogous to what you get with various levels of high-speed hauling.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just checking to see if I got a note from Jason Joyce. He may have checked out, but
I gave him permission to talk. So
is he still on there? Oh, okay. Yeah. And Jason's been a terrific volunteer for the Lobster Institute over the years. He's tested baits for us. He's worked with us with their tidal pound. And when we needed somebody to put a camera on a trap, he was there for us. You still there?
I've asked him to unmute.
Oh. All right, Jason, we'll talk later.
Hey, Bob, this is the other Jason.
Oh, hey.
Hey. So my question for you is depth. Did Herb play around at all with, did this jelly heart phenomena occur? Was there a critical depth threshold that this occurred, or was it, deep water?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know what the threshold is, but it's so common. And I would suggest any of you that have a connection with a lobster dealer, ask to take a look at their dead lobsters sometime, and just all you gotta do is pull the carapace, and it's very obvious. But anyway, I don't know.